Hi, this is Brittany, and this is my week 4 submission. Start with my header. So here's my header. I changed the font type, and I also changed, this was a button previously, and I learned that it shouldn't be a button, so I changed that. I also changed a lot of I got rid of a lot of the IDs and whatnot that I wasn't using, and a lot of the other stuff that was unnecessary. Just kept the nav and sectioned this out. This, random text here. As far as the CSS, that pretty much stayed the same. I adjusted, I changed the font and then I adjusted, to a sans serif font. Adjusted the padding a little bit and then changed what was the button information to just the pre-order list item stuff. So let's do the footer. So here's the footer. I changed the division lines in between. Previously I had them in the HTML and that was wrong. I also cleaned this up a bit, got rid of a lot of the stuff that I didn't need here as well, as far as, like IDs, tags, all that stuff. So let me show you the CSS. So here's the CSS for that. When it comes to the lines, I was just, border right solid, and then I did this so that there isn't a line after policy. Other than that, I think it speaks for itself. It's a gray color displayed in block. I didn't want the underline to show, so no text decoration there. Let's go on to, let's do my CTA. So probably move that out a little bit, but so it was just a thank you to go to the thank you video. Before I wasn't able to get the background image in, so I adjusted that, and then I also changed the font on this as well. Changed the button a little bit. It was a little lighter than it should have been. Oh, and it was a button before. It's not a button now. So let's go to that. So yeah, I cleaned this up a bit to change it just to a section. Okay. So here's my CSS for that. No repeat on the background. I was able to, Josh walked me through on what I was doing wrong here. With locating the correct JPEG. Adjusted the heading size. Changed the button, or I keep calling it a button, but it looks like a button, but it's not. So I changed that. It's just the anchor tag here, and made it, so when you hover, it changes a darker blue. So my feature, I wasn't able to come across these exact images. So, and you know what? On this site right now, they have the wording on the top, and I did the wording on the top, but here it is. They changed the images, and I was going off that, but anyways, so here's mine. I think, I'd need editing done to the pictures, but I think you're able to see, you can click these and get to where you need to go. Of course, the font's not the same. Pictures are different, but I think, you'd need to make the pictures a little lighter to see the white background, but it's this one. For the about, oh, I didn't go through my code for that. Hold on. Okay. So here's my code for that. I pretty much cleaned up everything on everything. So it's just a list, and here is my code for that. So I didn't want the backgrounds to repeat. I wanted them to be displayed across the screen like they are. And then I applied background images for each list item. And then the color of the text on the Mac image is gray, so I changed that. This is my old code. You can see that. Okay, so let's go to the About section. Here's my About section. I struggled with this, but this is the best I could do, and I think I came, as close as I could. The images do go across like they do on their site. I couldn't get this to center, and I couldn't get this in the 4 almost table-like settings. I'm showing the code for that. And I had these as figures before, but when I went over it with Josh, actually I didn't go over this with Josh. I changed this myself. Or actually, yeah, we did. I'm so off. He said, he didn't know why they were figures. Oh, that might have been in his video actually. So, so I just changed those out and made it, each one an article. I think that made more sense, just because it does. And then I just separated them by 2 sections. This being the top section, and then this being another section. I also changed the font here, and then I changed the font on everything, but this is different, and then made it hover with the underline and changed the size of this image. Let me show you the code for that. So, I divided those into the 2 sections, so that's the code here, aligning the text and displaying inline block. People, these would be the images. The block quote, that would be this, what I was talking about earlier, how I changed that to when you hover over it. Giving the images the circle, or making them a circle, I changed the border radius. But the last image, I didn't want it to have that, which would be this image here, sorry, the creative lofting. And then this is me adjusting the size on that last image. But I just couldn't get them in the shape. I know it was gone over on the video, and I tried to look for that video again, and I couldn't find it. And then I couldn't really understand my notes, but I couldn't do it without getting it into a table. I know there's a way. I know there's a way. I just don't have the time right now because I have to turn it in. Let's go to the next section. So the blog. Before, I had an issue with the header because it still had the underline, the hyperlink underline, and so did the comments section. But I found out that I was doing that wrong, so I was able to change that up. Let me show you what I changed. I also cleaned this up a bit too with the IDs and whatnot. Let's see. Let's go to. So I found out that I was. Let me. Jeez, getting thrown off. Okay, so I cleaned this up a bit. So headline would be this. So I was able to make that gray. H2, that's just the headers. It's a smaller header, so I just kept that the same. But then I changed all of the anchor tags to have, no text decoration, so that gets rid of the underline. Change it to black, and then made it the lighter weight font because I noticed it was a little thicker than what it appeared to be on the actual site. And then changed, the comments to gray when you hover. And that's all I really changed there. Block quotes still center. The image is still centered there. So the next part would be contacts. This is another one I struggled with. I got everything right. I just couldn't get it centered. Centering seems to be a problem I have. So I cleaned this one up as well, and then I added Josh. I spoke with Josh, and he talked about adding alt tags for the image, or for the image, not alt tags, but alternate for the images. So I did that there. I did it on my other pages as well, just so you'd be able to know what the image was. So I did that, cleaned it up, changed it to got rid of the div tags. Contact page. So here's the contact page. Clean this up as well. I italicized the titles because I noticed they seem to be on their site. Changed the font on this as well. Got rid of, I didn't want the border on the outside of right, so I got rid of that. Made the linked font, the greenish bluish color. So, and then got rid of the underline there. Let's go to the next thing. So login. So here's that. I was able to change I haven't changed much here from previously. I changed the text, got rid of a lot of the excess there as well. Changed its articles in the sections, and then show you the code. So here's the code for that. What I added was the font family, changed that up. The buttons are the buttons, I keep saying buttons. But actually these are buttons, sorry, because these are like submit. So submit is actually a button. And that's gonna, log you in. So change that. I think that one looks pretty good. These are the right color. I use the logo as I added the logo to the top, just like that. I think that's it. I think I went over the footer. Thank you.